Hello, welcome to CGTN. This is our special coverage on the SCO Plus meeting in northern China's port city of Tianjin. Live from Beijing, I'm Pando.
And I'm Li Dongning. Well, Chinese president will chair the meeting and is expected to deliver a keynote speech.
And earlier today, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization held its 25th meeting of the Council of Heads of State. At the meeting, President Xi Jinping called on all SCO members to stay true to the organization's founding mission, promote the sustained development of the SCO, and march toward a brighter future of a community with a shared future for humanity.
Right, and the leaders from Asia, Europe, and Africa are now in Tianjin for the largest ever SCO summit. And the summit is one of the most important head of state diplomacy events in China this year. And leaders at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin have signed the Tianjin Declaration. They also approved the SCO development strategy for 2026 to 2035 and released statements commemorating the victory in World War II and the 80th anniversary of the UN, as well as supporting the multilateral trading system. And a total of 24 outcome documents have been signed, covering areas including security, economy, people-to-people exchanges, and institution building. And they also witnessed the inauguration of 4 centers, including SCO Comprehensive Center for responding to security threats and challenges, and the Center for Combating Transnational Organized Crime, the Information Security Center, and the Anti-Drug Center. And members also have a dialogue at its newest platform, which agreed to accept Laos as newest dialogue partner.
That's right. Many outcomes reached this morning, and we're looking forward to the upcoming SCO Plus meeting. Now, let's take a look at some highlights from President Xi Jinping's keynote speech at the 25th meeting of the Council of Heads of State.
President Xi Jinping began by summarising the organisation's past while addressing the meeting of SCO Council of Heads of State. Xi hailed the organisation's achievements in security. He said the organisation has turned borders into a bond of friendship, mutual trust and cooperation. It was the first organisation to set up a military confidence-building mechanism in border areas. Multilateral actions have been taken against terrorism, separatism and extremism. President Xi noted that the SCO was the first organisation to launch Belt and Road cooperation. He said a large number of livelihood projects have been implemented, boosting development and prosperity across the region. Xi also said China's cumulative trade with other SCO members has exceeded $2.3 trillion, which is ahead of schedule on his previous target. Xi stressed that the SCO was the first organisation to conclude a treaty on long-term good neighbourliness, friendship and cooperation, and also the first to put forth the vision of global governance. Looking ahead, President Xi Jinping put forward 5 points to better tap into the potential of the organisation. He said the organisation should seek common ground while putting aside differences and pursue mutual benefits and win-win results. He said members need to uphold openness, inclusiveness, fairness and justice, while striving for real results and high efficiency. President Xi also reiterated China's commitment to the SCO.
China always aligns its development with that of the SCO and with the aspiration of the people of member states for a better life. To date, China's investment stock in other SCO member states has exceeded $84 billion, and its annual bilateral trade with other SCO member states has surpassed $500 billion. China has always focused on taking real actions to ensure better development of the SCO. Going forward, China plans to implement 100 small and beautiful livelihood projects in member states with such need. It will provide 2 billion RMB yuan in grant to SCO member states within this year. and will issue an additional 10 billion RMB yuan in loan to the member banks of the SCO Interbank Consortium over the next 3 years. Starting from next year, China will double the current number of SCO-specific scholarships and launch an SCO innovative PhD program to jointly train high-caliber talent in academic as well as scientific and technological research. In the next 5 years, China will establish 10 Luban workshops in SCO member states and provide 10,000 human resources training opportunities.
President Xi concluded his speech by calling on all SCO members to stay true to the organisation's founding mission, promote the sustained development of the SCO, and march toward a brighter future of a community with a shared future for humanity.
Well, this year's summit has drawn over 3,000 journalists from around the world. And for more on that, our reporter Wang Mengjie is live at the SCO Media Center. So, Mengjie, tell us how journalists are reporting on the summit and their expectations for this afternoon's meeting as well.
Of course, hello from Tianjin to Dongling and Pandong. Reporters from around the world have praised the Shanghai Cooperation Organization for its significant contributions to the national development, the regional cooperation, and the search for the global development. I think the regional cooperation is one of the hottest topics towards their expectations. And I can learn from my interview with Mr. Shashev, the SCO's regional executive director of the SCO's regional anti-terrorist structure. He said that each member state has their own approach to counting and approaching the separatism or extremism and the terrorism based on their different legal frameworks. But, the meetings within the organization have been held routinely to dissolve the differences based on their situations. So I think that despite the challenges, he said that the member states can always reach a compromise. So this kind of a situation make the regional securities kind of like one of the hottest topic. But I think for the reporters' expectations for the upcoming session, apart from the regional security, I think the economic cooperation is also expected to be the priority. Chinese President Xi Jinping urged the setting up the non-SCO Development Bank during Monday morning session. And we can also learn from the numbers that the trade volume of the SCO region exceeded over $500 billion in 2024. So I think these are the very vivid examples to show the region is experiencing a surge in economic and financial development and also unleashing the vast potential. And of course, topics related to the people-to-people exchanges, to the technical cooperations through, for example, the Luban workshops also will be the high on their expectations. So all in all, I think reporters expect to see that through this kind of collective measures that the organization could come through and navigate toward a future of peace and shared prosperity. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Wang Mengjie, reporting from Tianjin on what journalists are eyeing for at this year's summit.
And as we've been reporting, the SCO Plus meeting will start very soon. For more on that, let's cross live to our reporter Wu Lei, standing by at the very venue of this meeting. Hello, Wu Lei, bring us up to date.
Hello, Pandong. We are now in the conference hall of the Meijiang International Convention and Exhibition Center. As you can see, many leaders are now arriving to attend this SCO Plus meeting. As you can see from the background, there are 3 languages in Chinese, Russian, and also English, showing that this is a SCO Plus meeting. We can see more flags put in there, and because this morning it was the 25th meeting of the Council of the Heads of State of the SCO. Only, SCO full member states and other leaders attending, but this afternoon, the SCO Plus meeting will involve leaders from not only SCO full state member, but also observer state, as well as dialogue partners, as well as 10 leaders from the international organizations. So we can see that all these leaders are expected to come very soon to attend this SCO Plus meeting. This morning, Chinese President Xi delivered a keynote speech setting the tone for higher and mutual expectation about in the future. And this afternoon, the SCO Plus meeting expected to enhance the collaboration with these kind of international organizations. Because we know the Laos has been accepted as one of the latest dialogue partners of the SCO. And the Laos leader will attend this SCO Plus meeting very soon. Over the past 24 years, SCO has been expanding from 6 to now 27 in total. So we can see the influence and the popularity and has been growing over the past few years, now accounting for almost half of the world's population and a quarter of the global GDP. SCO is playing a more active role in safeguarding world peace and uphold, the multilateralism. And after the SCO summit, most of the leaders are expected to travel to Beijing to attend the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the World Anti-Fascist War, as well as the Chinese People's War against Japanese aggression, the Chinese military parade. Most of these countries share the common history, as they want to send a message that they stand together, they remember the past, and now they want to chart for the future. Back to you, Pandeng.
Thank you very much, our reporter Wu Lei in Tianjin.
Actually, the turnout at this year's SCO summit is very high. More than 20 countries, heads of state, and 10 leaders of the 10 international organizations.
The largest ever.
The largest ever, unprecedented scale of this year's SCO summit. So in exclusive interviews with China Media Group, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif highlighted the role of the SCO in building a true multipolar world and China's efforts in bolstering mutual development with SCO member states. Take a listen.
I believe that we need to build a multipolar world. We need to build a world in which all areas of the world, all cultures, all religions, all civilizations are able to work together. And in the efforts to build a multipolar world, the countries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization are essential. And so I believe that what the SCO represents today is one of the basic conditions to move into a true multipolar world that is not yet there. We are still moving in that direction.
Number one, he is a pro-poor welfare leader, and under his leadership, China has been able to alleviate people out of poverty. Right. It is not a joke that President Xi Jinping truly believes in multilateralism. Therefore, I have always considered President Xi Jinping as a visionary leader, a leader who has not only transformed China's economy, and today China is the second largest economy in the world, one of the mightiest military power around the globe. Not only this, President Xi Jinping has ensured that this economic progress has to be shared by those countries which are not so fortunate in their achievements. So he has ensured to promote this program where poor nations also benefit.
We also spoke to ambassadors from Pakistan, Belarus and Armenia. They shared expectations for the SCO event and highlighted commitment to the Shanghai spirit, emphasizing unity, security and multilateralism.
Ironclad friendship with China is a cornerstone of Pakistan's foreign policy, and it is manifested in many ways. So one is the government-to-government level. That is, of course, next year we are celebrating 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations. So this is a relationship not just between governments, it is also a relationship between people, between businesses, between think tanks, between different organizations. More specifically on Shanghai Cooperation Organization, I think there is a very close alignment in our approach and in our objectives and in our efforts to promote and advance the Shanghai spirit.
The summit will be the venue for the adoption of important institutional and practical decisions aimed at improving and strengthening the mechanisms of the SCO. For example, we plan to establish centers for countering international organized crime and preventing drug trafficking. We also expect to establish the SCO Development Bank. We hope that this summit will become a turning point in the organization's history.
Our decision to apply for joining SCO is marked by both continuity and change. When I say continuity, first of all, I recall that back to 2016, Armenia already became a partner for dialogue. And in this regard, we have already had opportunity to establish good relations and working relations with the Secretariat, as well as with the key states of this organization. And when it comes to our foreign policy approaches in this regard, I would like to mention that we are trying to diversify our relations, both with key countries of the world, major countries of the world, but also with multilateral organizations. We believe in multilateral diplomacy. We believe in multilateralism. In short, we are applying with firm resolve and determination to share principles, spirits, and to work together with all key countries of that organization.
All right, for more discussion about the SCO Summit, let's welcome our studio guests, Mr. Wang Xinsong, Associate Professor of School of Government from Beijing Normal University, and Zun Ahmed Khan, Research Fellow of Center for China and Globalization. Welcome to Global Watch. Well, Mr. Wang, we just mentioned that the Tianjin Declaration has been adopted at this morning's summit, and also with the 10-year strategy, and also a statement marking the 80th anniversary of the UN and World War II victory has also been released. How do these documents mark the legacy of SCO Summit, which is reportedly the largest scale ever?
Right. I think there are several key takeaways I've got from this morning's meeting and the declaration. And number one is that I think the organization is really taking it seriously to develop not only a vision, but also a plan, right? And so we have seen the 10-year plan that's going to usher in the next stage of development and the prosperity of the SCO members. And this really echoes the Chinese way of putting forward development proposals. We have a 5-year plan, which is well known to the world. But more than that, we have always had a long-term vision, and we put them into plans and we carry them out. And this, I think, is one of the reasons that makes China's economy kind of a miracle over the past decades. And I think we are introducing this idea of putting vision into plans and then concretely implementing them into the SCO as well as other multilateral institutions. But then this year's summit, I've also seen a much clearer transition of the direction of SCO from focusing a lot on security to focusing both on security as well as on development. Because at the end of the day, security is impossible without development, right? So we've seen many projects to come up on infrastructure building, on green transition, and on energy utilization, and so on and so forth. Lastly, the main key takeaway from me is that I've seen multilateralism really playing a critical role, particularly in today's world where global governance is in serious deficit. You know, we're not short of global governance organizations, to be sure. But many of the organizations are either outdated or are dominated by certain political powers who are more interested in imposing ideologies than having a common prosperity. So
not really functioning in a fair way.
Exactly, and we've seen many organizations starting to not function at all. That's why I think both President Xi Jinping and other political leaders attending this year's SCO are all advocating for the idea of true multilateralism, in which we all respect each other, we trust each other, we share this common prosperity objective, and the way of reaching this objective is through consultation, through consensus building, rather than domination or hegemonism.
Ms. Han, we just heard remarks from Pakistani Prime Minister Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, talking about the importance of true multilateralism. And just as Professor mentioned, true multilateralism is one of the key themes of the Tianjin Declaration, one of the major outcomes of the SCO summit. So what's your reading into the very word true? Because multilateralism obviously doesn't necessarily mean several countries get together and listening to one master country and telling you what to do, right?
No, absolutely.
No.
I think one of the things one of the most important shifts that's happening in the world, and the SCO is a significant manifestation of that, is that we are increasingly multipolarizing. Now, as also the UN Secretary General mentioned, it isn't a truly multipolar world, but increasingly it is not just the few powerful countries, but so many other parts of the world, including the SCO region, including so many others, are now setting the agenda. They are defining what partnerships should look like, what their development should look like. We are also recognizing the importance of China's contribution. 800 million people out of poverty is a kind of, it's not just capability, it is to prioritize people's well-being. And anyway, if we think of on the global level, the only true mandate that all countries of the world have agreed upon is the Sustainable Development Goals. So what matters is people-centric and people's prosperity. That said, what is true multilateralism? Now, interestingly, the word alliance has become so stuck in people's minds that I've had various interviews recently where the anchors are saying this is an alliance. It's like, no, it is a partnership. It is not in opposition to anyone else, anyone's development, anyone's friendships, ideas, progress, ideology. It is about coming together, solving our own problems. And I think that is where the word true is very critical and important. I know that since 5-6 years, especially in many important messages and meetings, Chinese representatives have mentioned we don't want multilateralism that's actually hiding, negative agendas. We need true multilateralism, and the spirit of that is we want to unite for common goals. We want to unite to uphold the UN Charter. We want to strengthen global governance, as mentioned. There's no dearth of institutions, but there has been a dearth of will, a dearth of unity, a dearth of taking the perspective of the majority into account, and also a dearth of allowing others to prosper, not thinking in a zero-sum mindset. So I feel true is essential in this conversation. We've seen a lot of negative manifestations pretending to be multilateralism.
So it's time to have to carry out some sort of institutional reforms on not only the current international organizations, but to set maybe a whole new system to make the global governance better, or even more, or true multilateral. And the inauguration of 4 new security centers is something that we need to take note of this morning's development as well. It is being seen as a major upgrade for SCO. What is the primary signal that this actually sends to the international community?
Right, and if you look around the world today, there are the rising conflicts going on in quite many parts, and to be sure, in this part of the region, there are also conflicts, and so how do we get rid of the security? How do we avoid conflicts? And through dialogues and consensus building is very important, and I think that's why the Tianjin Declaration emphasizes on, keeping to build the security centers. One particular area that was given emphasis to is the anti-narcotic campaign, and in fact, the SCO members have collaborated for over a decade over the issues of illegal drugs. But this time around, I think with more determination and more institutionalization, this movement is going to be even more effective, because nowadays we're talking not just about the opium trafficking, but also synthetic drugs that are being cultivated, produced, and trafficked across countries, not just within the members of SCO, but across regions as well. So the SCO members working together on the illegal drug trafficking issue is not only helping the SCO members themselves, but also helping the world to fight against narcotics.
Well, dear guest, we'll be getting back to you on this very soon. Staying with the coverage, now let's cross live to our colleague Su Yuting in Tianjin. Yuting, you've been following all the SCO events very closely from the host city. Bring us up to date.
Yes, Pandon and Dongning, good to see you again. You know that yesterday on Sunday and today on Monday are very, very busy for us, and there is a very packed schedule here at the Tianjin Summit. Just a few hours ago in the afternoon, I was invited to join a special live coverage of the Bernama TV from Malaysia, and I also talked with Al Kahira News from Egypt last night, and accepted interviews from RT from Russia, and NewsX World from India, and Al Yamadin TV from Lebanon, and I will also accept another very important interview with TVI World News from Indonesia. And I noticed that foreign media, all very interesting, Chinese President Xi Jinping's keynote speech delivered this morning, and they asked me what makes this year's SCO Summit in Tianjin such a significant gathering, and they're all very looking forward to seeing the outcomes of the Tianjin Summit. And the biggest takeaways that we all pay attention to are the concrete measures and detailed new visions and propositions proposed by China. And foreign media friends told me that they considered that as a very clear signal on China's determination and commitment in striving for real results and high efficiency of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization mechanism. And over the past few days, I've also made many interviews with distinguished guests in our CGTN Tianjin studio. What stood out most to me is the interview with Azad Khan. He is the Secretary General of the Economic Cooperation Organization, or ECO, a very important, prominent Tehran-based regional grouping. And he was invited to attend the SCO Summit as the guest of honor. And there is a very vivid metaphor described by Mr. Han. He said that all the SCO member states, observer states, and dialogue partners are on the same boat. And China is like the rising tide to lift all the boats, setting sail again to the path of stable and sustainable future. And you know that this is the 5th time China is hosting the SCO Summit. I've been to another port city of Qingdao in China in 2018 to cover the SCO Summit there. And now, 7 years later, I'm here in Tianjin, and a leading innovative city and pilot zone of the reform and opening up. So from my observation, I have witnessed lots of big leaps move forward by the organization. And there are also more global media, and with several rounds of expansion, there are more SCO members. And there are also more topics on the agenda. And as I mentioned previously, that I have been rushing to the media center at the venue to grab the expectations of the foreign media friends about their assessment of China's role in pushing forward the development of the SCO mechanism and carrying forward the Shanghai spirit. Now let's take a listen of what they had to say.
This summit is rooting the multipolar world. It's a main summit that consists and builds these relationship in the international relations. As for the role of China, of course, China plays a major role of building a multipolar world, and we are expecting a lot of discussions in this summit and a lot of course, discussions between Russia and China in the bilateral relationships. The expectations from Moscow is very high.
It's my first time in China and first time in Tianjin, and it's a great chance for us to see the culture of this country. We know much about history and the culture, but to feel it, to dive into it and to experiment it, it's very nice. It's very impressive. We're here for SCO Summit Tianjin. It's very well organized, and it's a very good chance for the media to see the culture, the organization, to cover the summit. Good luck to everybody.
We saw a lot of new technologies and AI robots here. China is developing so well and so fast. We hope to have the opportunity to cooperate with China.
Actually, it's not my first time to come to Tianjin, but like every time I come here, I'm always impressed by the Tianjin. Everybody trusts China, and they trust the role they are doing. So that's what also make all of who's joining to this forum is really happy to come to Tianjin. It's now with China, there's kind of cooperation when they talk and they say about the Hezuo. I think they say now we can see it as real. That's give this effort that China did. I think it was impressive. We saw that in the first meeting they did for the foreign ministers, and now I think I'm expecting to see that again in the second, on the biggest meeting, on the leaders' role.
Our colleague Su Yuting in Tianjin.
Right, it seems that from that part of the interview, it seems that the Chinese word Hezuo, meaning cooperation, has been prevailing in this year's SCO summit.
Right. Yeah.
And this year's summit is the largest ever, as we mentioned, in the history of SCO, and a number of diplomats have spoken about the bloc's role and achievements.
The Shanghai Cooperation Organization has fully demonstrated itself as an efficient platform for cooperation where numerous countries can engage in dialogue, hold consultations, conduct in-depth exchanges, and identify mutually acceptable and win-win cooperation points that benefit all parties. This is precisely the model for international organizations to carry out cooperation.
The achievements of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization stem from its core philosophy, the Shanghai spirit, which embodies mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality and consultation while respecting diverse civilizations and pursuing common development. These 6 key principles hold strong appeal for other nations, as evidenced by the growing number of countries expressing their willingness to join the SCO.
This economic track coincides very well with the Belt and Road Initiative, with the initiative of international development, the Chinese initiative. So in a nutshell, yes, the economic track is very important for the organization. It's developing every year, and China is playing the main role in this. And we look for China to continue that.
China assumed the rotating presidency of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in July 2024. Over the past year, China has launched activities and programs to advance reforms and ensure efficiency and stronger cooperation in a 24-year-old organization.
Since July last year, SCO cooperation in all sectors has deepened. China has hosted over 100 events as SCO chair, covering multiple areas such as politics, security, economy and trade, technological innovation, green industry, and people-to-people exchanges. These events have helped SCO countries increase solidarity and mutual trust, enhance mutual learning, and achieve mutually beneficial results. The organization's mechanisms have also improved. China has worked with every member state to advance reform and innovation in several key ways, such as the deliberation mechanism, cooperation structures, and permanent bodies, to ensure the organization runs smoother and is more efficient. Members are accelerating consultations regarding the establishment of a comprehensive centre for dealing with security threats and challenges, an information security centre, a centre for fighting transnational organised crime, and a counter-narcotics centre to strengthen cooperation on law enforcement and security and to build a new paradigm for regional security cooperation. Stronger commitment has been made to the Shanghai spirit. The SCO has spoken to uphold justice on major international and regional issues, firmly upheld the multilateral trading system, and strongly condemned the abuse of armed forces, sending a strong message for safeguarding peace and justice. China, together with SCO member states, has actively carried out exchanges and dialogue among political parties, media and think tanks, giving people a better understanding of the Shanghai spirit and bringing the SCO family closer. Gerard Vermaak, CGTN.
Well, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization has broadened its scope with the SCO Plus format.
That's right. It aims to boost regional integration and address global challenges by expanding beyond its core members.
Right, and the first SCO Plus meeting was held in Astana, Kazakhstan in 2024. And Chinese President Xi Jinping made 5 proposals stressing solidarity, peace, development, good neighborliness and justice.
The SCO started with 6 founding members before expanding into a 27-nation family. It now includes 10 member states, 2 observer states, and 15 dialogue partners stretching across Eurasia and beyond.
And the SCO is the world's largest regional organization by population and landmass. And officials say the group will keep its door open to welcome more countries that embrace the Shanghai spirit.
Now, for more insight into this momentum, let's go back to our studio guests. As we've been reporting, the SCO Plus meeting is coming up. But first, let's go through what the SCO Summit in morning has achieved. Earlier, you just mentioned the true multilateralism spirit embodied in the Tianjin Declaration, a leading document that represent the outcomes and consensus reached by leaders this time. You mentioned it's not only about talk, so it's not only narrative. And when you read into the Tianjin Declaration, you can see many specific programs in a people-centered manner. For example, scholarships among SCO students, especially PhD students, and also this Luban workshop focusing on training technicians and artisans across continents. What's your reading into these people-centered actions, real measures?
Oh, I think, it's central, you know. For years, especially since my country, Pakistan, became a member, we've been discussing. I've been lucky to be part of different groups, organizations, and platforms that focus on the Shanghai spirit of the SCO identity. And we often say that, it's 1 billion plus young people in this region. And even though the SCO has a historic precedent, we know that we have common words, common festivals. There's so much this region has shared over millennia. And today, with, 24 years now of building the SCO, it evolving into an organization that recognizes that security, safety, economy, prosperity are all interconnected. The role of that 1 billion youth becomes transformative potentially to our potential. When we talk about scholarships, PhD scholarships, or the Luban workshop, which I've been lucky to know about and also collaborate with since 2018, what we are saying is that we need to invest in our young people. They are already empowered. We need to now recognize that and invest in their potentials for them to take forward the practical actions and the collaborations that we are working on. So P2P is vital. Making sure that young people have common spaces, shared experiences for them to work towards our shared future is also central. Because these young people are not the future. They're literally the present. They have energy. They have a drive. Think about, the young people 20 years from now and the ones today. Today's youth from the SCO region see the region as dynamic. They see opportunities. They want to work with their counterparts, other youth from the region. So I think doubling the scholarship scholarships, investing in Luban workshops is not just changing individual lives, it's potentially transforming our perception, our own identity as a collective. And I feel, this is where the real momentum is going to happen.
Well, the formation of this organization of SCO actually was originally based on security concerns, but now expanded to something like people-to-people exchanges to set up the Luban.
Very well, let's begin the meeting. Distinguished colleagues, welcome to Tianjin for the SCO Plus Meeting. Early this morning, Afghanistan was struck by an earthquake and suffered property and human losses. Afghanistan is an observer state of the SCO. I, together with everyone, express our condolences and sympathies to the earthquake-hit people. We hope that they will be able to reconstruct and rebuild their family again. Our meeting today is themed on practicing multilateralism, safeguarding regional peace, regional security, and promoting sustainable development. I believe with our joint efforts, the meeting will be a full success and contribute to greater progress of the SCO and peace, stability, development, and prosperity of our region and the wider world. Now, I will speak first on behalf of the Chinese side. Distinguished colleagues, this year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory of the World Anti-Fascist War and the founding of the United Nations. It is a milestone prompting us to remember the past and create a better future together. 80 years ago, the international community learned profound lessons from the scourge of 2 world wars and founded the United Nations, thus writing a new page in global governance. 80 years later, while the historical trends of peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit remain unchanged, the Cold War mentality, hegemonism, and protectionism continue to haunt the world. New threats and challenges have been only increasing. The world has found itself in a new period of turbulence and transformation. Global governance has come to a new crossroads. History tells us that at difficult times, we must uphold our regional commitment to peaceful coexistence, strengthen our confidence in win-win cooperation, advance in line with the trend of history, and thrive in keeping pace with the times. To this end, I wish to propose the Global Governance Initiative. It follows my previous global initiatives, namely Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and Global Civilization Initiative. And today, I propose to you the Global Governance Initiative. I look forward to working with all countries for a more just and equitable global governance system and advancing toward a community with a shared future for humanity. First, we should adhere to sovereign equality. We should maintain that all countries, regardless of size, strength, and wealth, are equal participants, decision-makers, and beneficiaries in global governance. We should promote greater democracy in international relations and increase the representation and voice of developing countries. Second, we should abide by international rule of law. The purposes and principles of the UN Charter and other universally recognized basic norms of international relations must be observed comprehensively, fully, and in their entirety. International law and rules should be applied equally and uniformly. There should be no double standards, and the house rules of a few countries must not be imposed upon others. Third, we should practice multilateralism. We should uphold the vision of global governance featuring extensive consultation and joint contribution for shared benefit, strengthen solidarity and coordination, and oppose unilateralism. We should firmly safeguard the status and authority of the UN and ensure its irreplaceable key role in global governance. Fourth, we should advocate the people-centered approach. We should reform and improve the global governance system to ensure that the people of every nation are the actors in and beneficiaries of global governance, so as to better tackle the common challenges for mankind, better narrow the North-South gap, and better safeguard the common interests of all countries. Fifth, we should focus on taking real actions. We should adopt a systematic and holistic approach, coordinate global actions, fully mobilize various resources, and strive for more visible outcomes. We should enhance practical cooperation to prevent the governance system from lagging behind or being fragmented. Colleagues, the founding declaration and the charter of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization made it clear at the outset that we should promote a more democratic, fair, and rational political and economic international order. Over the past 24 years, the SCO has adhered faithfully to the Shanghai spirit of mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality, consultation, respect for diversity of civilizations, and pursuit of common development. We have discussed regional affairs together, built platforms and mechanisms together, and benefited from cooperation together. We have also initiated many new global governance concepts and put them into practice. The SCO has increasingly become a catalyst for the development and reform of the global governance system. In response to the once-in-a-century transformations unfolding faster across the world, the SCO should step up to play a leading role and set an example in carrying out the GGI. We should contribute to safeguarding world peace and stability. With a vision for common security, SCO member states have signed the Treaty on Long-Term Good Neighborliness, Friendship and Cooperation, conducted effective security cooperation, and maintained overall stability in the region. We should continue to uphold the principles of non-alliance, non-confrontation, and not targeting any third party. We should combine our efforts in addressing various threats and challenges, give full play to the newly established SCO Universal Center for Countering Security Challenges and Threats and the SCO Anti-Drug Center, and build a community of common security in the region. We should remain a force for stability in this volatile world. We should step up to take the responsibility for open cooperation across the globe. SCO member states have rich energy resources, big markets, and strong internal driving forces, and we are contributing a rising share to world economic growth. We should continue to dismantle walls, not erect them. We should seek integration, not decoupling. We should advance high-quality Belt and Road cooperation and push for a universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization. China will readily share the opportunities of its vast market and continue to implement the action plan for high-quality development of economic and trade cooperation within the SCO family. China will establish 3 major platforms for China SCO cooperation in energy, green industry, and the digital economy, and will set up 3 major cooperation centers for scientific and technological innovation, higher education, and vocational and technical education. We will work with fellow SCO countries to increase the installed capacity of photovoltaic and wind power, each by 10 million kilowatts in the next 5 years. We are ready to build with all sides the Artificial Intelligence Application Cooperation Center and share the dividends of progress in AI. We welcome all parties to use the Beidou satellite navigation system and invite countries with relevant capacities to take part in the International Lunar Research Station project. We should set an example in championing the common values of humanity. Among SCO members, cultural exchanges are packed with highlights, people-to-people interactions are frequent and robust, and different civilizations radiate their unique splendor. We should continue to promote exchanges and mutual learning among civilizations and write brilliant chapters of peace, amity, and harmony among countries different in history, culture, social system, and development stage. China will host and ensure the success of the SCO Political Parties Forum, the SCO Green and Sustainable Development Forum, and the SCO Forum on Traditional Medicine. In the next 5 years, China will treat 500 patients with congenital heart disease, perform 5,000 cataract operations, and carry out 10,000 cancer screenings for other SCO countries. We should act to defend international fairness and justice. In compliance with the principles of justice and fairness, SCO member states have engaged constructively in international and regional affairs and upheld the common interests of the Global South. We should continue to unequivocally oppose hegemonism and power politics, practice true multilateralism, and stand as a pillar in promoting a multipolar world and greater democracy and international relations. China supports the SCO in expanding cooperation with other multilateral institutions such as the UN, ASEAN, the Eurasian Economic Union, and the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia, to jointly uphold the international economic and trade order and improve global and regional governance. Colleagues, an ancient Chinese philosopher said of the importance of principles, uphold the great principle and the world will follow. In 2 days, China will commemorate solemnly the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against the Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. Many colleagues will join us in Beijing. We are ready, together with all parties, to uphold courageously the great principle and the common good of the world, promote a correct historical perspective on World War II, resolutely safeguard the fruits of our victory in the war, and deliver more benefits to the entire humanity through the reform of the global governance system and the building of a community with a shared future for humanity. Such is my statement.
Well, that was Chinese President Xi Jinping delivering a speech at the SCO Plus meeting. Well, he started by extending condolences to the families who lost their loved ones in today's very heavy earthquake in Afghanistan, which is an observer country in SCO, and also he wished the country to get back to normal as soon as possible. And he then mentioned that this year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory in the World Anti-Fascist War and also the founding of the United Nations. Well, 80 years later after all that, after we had victory against fascism, we still see challenges like the Cold War mentality, hegemonism, and protectionism. And at the same time, new risks are on the rise, and global governance is once again at a critical moment, at crossroads, as what he said. And that's why Chinese President Xi Jinping put forward the Global Governance Initiative. And his vision is to work with all countries to build a fairer, more balanced system and move closer toward a community with a shared future for humanity. And that initiative highlights 5 ideas: respect for sovereign equality and commitment to multilateralism, abiding by to the international rule of law, and also putting people at the center, and also very importantly, taking real actions.
That's right. And for more insights, let's go to our studio guest. Also, President Xi Jinping has put the GGI, Global Governance Initiative, into the SCO context. He proposed 4 major directions for the SCO to work on in the near future. First and foremost, Professor, is maintaining world peace and stability. Why this is so important, combining the big backdrop of the 80th anniversary of the UN founding and also the victory in the World Anti-Fascist War.
It is extremely important to talk about global governance or true global governance today, because we are seeing many conflicts coming up 80 years after the most disastrous crisis in human history, the Second World War. And after the war, I think human beings learned the lesson for the moment, and they sat down and they established the United Nations system, which has been working mostly effectively. However, we're also seeing the rise of unilateralism, protectionism, and also the Cold War mentality that features the prioritizing one country's interests over others, right? So global governance now is in crisis. I think it's fair to say that.
I guess we'll be getting back to you on this now. For more on this, our colleague Xu Qingduo is live at the SCO Media Center. Qingduo, bring us your major takeaway from President Xi Jinping's speech.
Well, this is obviously a very important moment in terms of putting forward a new initiative by President Xi Jinping. I think most people are familiar with what the presidency has proposed. The other 3 initiatives, that's the development initiative, security initiative, and civilization initiative. And the new one, global governance initiative, obviously is about the global governance. And we understand that there is a deficit of global governance. For example, there's a lack of representation from the developing countries. So that's why Presidency says we should increase the voice and the representation of the developing countries. Also, he talked about this multipolar system. I mean, what kind of multipolar system, equitable and also in an orderly way to build a multipolar system. It's not a system dominated by one country or dominated by one bloc. It's a system that represents all the interests of the members, and also members are equal and being treated with respect. He also talked about the practice of this, I would say this, most of the members won't welcome such a practice. We're also familiar with that is a double standard, or impose one country's will or a group of countries' will on other countries. Double standard means, of course, very strict on other countries to follow international rules, but for themselves, it's a different story. It's a practice of exceptionalism, like the rules are for others, not for themselves. Obviously, that's not right, not fair, not just. So that's why it's being just and also a fair international system is also part of the content of the new initiative. And the initiative also touches upon the development, of course, multilateralism, that is, a globalization which is an inclusive one, which is does not benefit only a group of a country or group of people. It benefits every country that involves in the whole process.
All right, thank you.
So overall, I think that's what exactly the international community needed right now.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much, Xu Qingduo, reporting from Tianjin. And before we go, a lot of thanks to our studio guests today, Mr. Wang Xinsong from Beijing Normal University and Zun Ahmed Khan from the Center for China and Globalization. Thank you very much for your brilliant insight today. And that's it for our special coverage of the SCO Plus meeting. I'm Li Dongning in Beijing.
And I'm Pan Deng. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.